Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're watching this, hello and welcome back to ESA and Break the Record Live, featuring Dark Souls with the All Bosses category. My name is Bowie the Hero, and I am joined by my very good friend, Mr. Argic. We also have our third host, who's currently away right now, but will be joining us a little bit later, Speedsouls' own Ashwin. So we will be your three hosts, taking you through the next couple of days of this fantastic event. If you haven't seen a Break the Record Live before, Break the Record Live is a 3-day speedrunning time trial marathon. A competition that, rather than a one-on-one race to push you through a bracket, it's all about the speedrunner's process, the grind, the resets, the stress, the pain, but also the joy and triumph when we get that one run that we're always looking for. Any run can be the one, so we're just trying to grind it out and see if we can find that one to beat the record, break the record. The record that our runners are looking for in Dark Souls Remastered is 1:02:34, held by Catalyst, currently the first place competitor in our competition. We have 7 runners who qualified over the last month and have made their way to this prestigious stage to duke it out and see how well they can do. We're not using anyone's PB for the event, but the best time that they get during the time allotment they have for the event itself. We'll get to the leaderboard a little bit when we transfer over to the multi-view, but we were just going to have a little bit of a conversation with you to kind of like take you through the events of yesterday, have a little conversation about that, and gear up for the show today. So Argic, let's go through some of the obvious things in terms of like some of the best times that our runners got and particular players' performances from yesterday. So let's talk about. I want to talk about one of our like most improved players and our most active players from yesterday, Iron Boy.
Yeah, no, definitely. Currently did the most attempts throughout the event at the moment. I've done basically was here pretty much like 5, 6, maybe even 7 hours throughout the first day. There was just getting those attempts, getting them down, getting them through, and setting a nice event time right now of a 1:08:45. And that's better than the qualifying time that he had. He qualified with a 1:10 on the nose, so that's a good like minute 15 there saved off that one. But we did see Iron Boy get a lot of runs going through as well. The trend with Iron Boy was absolutely phenomenal. Like beginning, manages to get through pretty much through all the way through like Anne Orlando, and then just those end game splits just seem to slowly but surely keep taking that time away.
Yeah.
So hopefully today we'll see more of that like mid to late game practice from Iron Boy, or maybe just go straight in the runs and basically have the game show a little bit of mercy there, or even better, Iron Boy show it who's boss.
Yeah, I think there was a thing to watch with him as well, is that we've noticed is that a lot of the runs he did, as you said, that really strong like first 20 minutes getting past Ornstein and Small kind of really well, but then having this kind of like weird moment kind of like from like the post Anne Orlando section, just kind of getting towards the DLC, and that kind of like mid game is where we kind of I feel that he's going to be looking to really push out some great times to confirm those time advancements. But yeah, we'll keep our eye on Iron Boy throughout the day, because yeah, he's been a very dedicated runner and putting a lot of time in. The other one I want to talk about is Olsku. Now, we were mentioning yesterday at the end of the day, Olsku is one of the fastest runners out there. The current world record, as I said, was 1 hour, 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Well, Olsku's PB is 1 hour, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. So there's a second between both Catalyst and Olsku. However, we didn't really see Olsku put those kind of like really, really like strong times in that Catalyst did. So Catalyst's event time is a 1:02:48. So he's in that minute bracket of the 1:02. But Olsku back on a 1:04. I feel that maybe he didn't have as much time on the game as perhaps Iron Boy did, or maybe even Catalyst. So we're going to hopefully see a little bit more from him now that it's Saturday. Obviously, perhaps these runners don't have work or any other commitments, which is going to like push them away from the game. So they're going to spend as much time as possible grinding everything out. They have 12 hours. They can use it however they want. But yeah, I'm going to be interested to see Olsku kind of put out the performance that we've been expecting of him kind of going into the event here as well. I'm not sure if you saw anything specific from Olsku that you were kind of like wanting to see.
For me, it's a case of, like, as you just point out there, we want to see Olsku try and get back up into that same range as Catalyst is currently at right now. A really awesome thing that we saw before Danflesh came out, we'll speak about him in a moment there, is that the standings for the longest time yesterday matched the qualifying times. So we had everybody in their respective qualifying positions, which was absolutely amazing. And then obviously Catalyst came out and pulled out that amazing PB, and we were waiting to see the rest of the runners try and do this as well. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, Danflesh finishes an absolutely phenomenal run with that 1:03.43, pushing Olsku down. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll see Olsku come in with a little bit more, like, what's the word? A little bit more competitiveness coming through here, being like, hey, wait a minute, I was second last night. Like, now I'm third. Right? No, we're not having this. And gets that fire under him and starts pushing for those times.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Danflesh is one of those runners that I think can do that to a runner like Olsku. Because you know, when it comes to leaderboards, you know, the best time is just posted there. But, you know, are you going to be able to get that best time, you know, over a 3-day period? But Danflesh is, you know, as you said, push Olsku down and showing that he can compete with these top times. You know, when we're looking at his splits, he does have a best possible time in the 102 area as well. So he's going to be competing for this. And if Olsku doesn't pull out his best, he will see himself down a further stage. Which, to speak of that as well, we've also got Nax, who's currently sitting in 4th place right now, about a minute behind Olsku. However, last night, Nax, you know, I salute you, sir, was you know, grinded out to the very end. Like he was the only one going until, you know, the final moments of the you know, qualification period. Well, I mean the run attempt period from last night, and had 2 great runs in a row. One that, you know, we lost in a very random where did you come from kind of way, and then another one where, as you know, you saw, it was like super far ahead, you know, had all this time to save and was looking very good, and then just got a little bit RNG towards the end on Bed of Chaos, just getting wiped out by Firestorm, which is just, oh man, if we could see more of those runs coming out from Nax, we're going to see potentially another 103, another 102 time, I feel, because he was putting in so much work towards the end and using the time that he has to put runs in to their advantage, which is wonderful to see.
Oh, definitely. Like that last run at the end of the night there, he was 40 seconds ahead of his actual PB, not his event PB, his actual PB. So he was looking to set an absolutely ridiculous time, actually going to get into that 3rd place. But as you said, just Bed of Chaos, RNG happened, and that was it. That was the end of the run. And it's like, really hope we see Nax come out strong again. Nax did jump into it and just let us know. It was like, hey, I'm going to be doing it again. Like, don't you worry, this is going to happen. So fingers crossed, good luck. Looking forward to it is what I am. Like, definitely going to be a good thing.
Yeah. Indeed, I do agree. I want to talk about two more runners. Our other 2 runners, specifically Mintius, our runner from the Japanese community. Obviously, a few hours ahead, so having a little bit of an interesting time zone to go. So it's probably, I want to say it's around like 8 o'clock right now, or roughly around that, maybe almost 9 in JST. So one of those ones that has a bit of an interesting time zone. However, yesterday had work kind of like go late into the night, so it came along a little bit later. However, I feel like we might see a little bit more from Mintius. Speaking with Ash yesterday during the event, was kind of saying that, you know, a bit of a dark horse. Don't know as much about the approaches that some of the Japanese runners take, as they tend to, you know, communicate amongst themselves a little bit more and maybe have their own strats. You know, and we've seen some different routing coming out from Mintius, and he's been performing very well. Has a 1:12.36, as I believe he's newer to all bosses, but does have experience with Dark Souls, like a lot of experience with Dark Souls. So one of those ones that just getting into the flow of it and getting to understand it a little bit more, we might see something quite special from Mintius, even pushing Iron Boy down into 6th place potentially. So that's going to be an interesting place to look. And then we have Gentov, who is our runner from Argentina, who hasn't yet put in the no reset run, which was a 1:39.49, bit of a nightmare. And they were getting loads of great runs around the 1:11 pace, 1:12 pace. Even like, yeah, as I said, like to kind of put Mintius down a space, but couldn't ever complete a run. So with a bit more time, without having to do the no reset as well, we'll see what they can pull out, I reckon.
No, definitely. And I think that is like there's going to be a really interesting dynamic from yesterday compared to today is that the runners are already they now have experience being in this break the record live setting. They now know, right, okay, we did our no reset. It might not have been the greatest that we were wanting, but now is when we can put out as many attempts as we can, as many attempts as we want. And hopefully we'll see this leaderboard get shaken up a little bit today and we'll see all these really good runs coming out. The main, obviously, every runner is one to watch. We'll have as many of them up as we can each time. Time zones being a bit funky means we won't see everybody at the same time. But I'm looking forward to just keeping an eye on, for me mainly, like it's Danflesh and Nax right now. Like I'm really hoping to see these two pull out more of those close runs. Like you see the green coming through and you're just like, this could be it. This could be the run. And then Dark Souls just says, nah, like this is it. We're going to have fun. But you can see now, I believe you should be able to see some of our runners just getting in some practice on certain areas at the moment. I believe we just saw some 4 Kings action going on there. Seeing, practicing that 1 King strat. Again, learning a lot about Dark Souls for this event. It's been really awesome seeing just how these different things can go right versus going wrong. And wanting to, like, you want these runners to succeed, but it's nice seeing them adapt to when bosses give them unfavorable AI actions, things like that.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And I mean, if you're looking here as well, we have a few people already. We're not going to be starting just yet. We're just getting ready and setting up the last things. We've got Dan, Olsku, and Iron Boy there, as well as Mintius ready to go. So a lot more. I think Danflesh, Olsku, and Iron Boy were here at the beginning as well. So we're seeing a little bit more of Mintius here. I think he joined about 4 hours into the event yesterday. 3 or 4 hours into the event yesterday. So nice to have them here. Just waiting on Catalyst to get started up because I know that they're available and ready. And I'm not sure about Gentoffer and Nax because they're much further west, so it's very early morning for them. So I think Nax is like west of Canada, like very, very far west, probably like -8 from GMT at least. So it's probably like 4 a.m. for him. So don't worry about that. And I'm not quite sure on Argentinian time zone. Is that -6?
I couldn't tell you honestly. I need to do a quick Google. Let's find out. Quick Google.
Yeah, you go and do that. Whilst I'll keep talking. So what I'll do is, as we approach the hour, it's midday. I'll bring our community casters in because we are going to be joined by a whole host of wonderful casters from the Dark Souls community. So I'll bring them in and drag them in just now. Hopefully they are ready to go. I'm going to bring in Red. Hello, Red.
Hi.
I'm going to bring in Capitan. Hello, Capitan. Unmute, and then he'll say hi. How are you doing, Reg? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Had some nice sleep.
Good.
And wait for another shift.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. I wanted to ask your opinion then, because I've been speaking to my co-host Argik here. But well, what did you take away from day one? What were like a couple of highlights or runners you want to see, do better or well today?
I guess the main runner I want to do better today, which I probably won't see in the first hour I'm here, is Duffer, who still sits at his 139 no reset run. He had a really good run going. I think the best possible time of 106, 107 if I remember, fairly late in the game. So definitely has potential to get like in this 4, 5 place. 5th or 4th place. He can get there if he manages to finish a run that he can be satisfied with. So I hope he can do that today.
Sure. Was there any kind of like highlight, something that happened, or like a runner did very, very well yesterday that is something you want to see more of from our runners today?
As I can shout out Iron Boy here, who, if I see correctly, in the leaderboard got another run-in. So that's 4 improvements in one day from Iron Boy.
Yeah.
So,
the grind's been real for him for sure.
Yeah, watch out for this guy.
Yeah, he was just keeping on going, and it's been really impressive to see that kind of like slow grind improvement throughout. So yeah, I mean, we're keeping our eye on him, as we said. He had a lot of main screen time. We had him up there quite a lot, which lucky for him, he got some time to show off his stuff. Very
Well, if
exciting
you
to see.
consistently get runs going, you consistently get the spotlight.
Yeah.
Smart.
Agreed. I believe Capitan is now here with us.
I am. Sorry, I was slightly late.
That's all right. Bonjour, ça va?
Très bien, et toi?
Très bien. Merci. Yeah, my French isn't the strongest. I know a little bit. I can get by as a tourist, but yeah. I just had a moment there to be like, pronounce it correctly, please. But how are you doing this morning? I know that I say this morning, it's afternoon for you and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, well, I've been. I woke up not too long ago, so it's kind of the morning for me, but it's doing pretty good. I'm excited for this second day. Hopefully, we won't have tragic endings like we had with Nax and Ghent with the bit of chaos. So hopefully, we can see some changes in the leaderboard, like some places, some PBs. So excited to see that.
I think that top 4 is like, it's going to be such a cavalcade of like ups and downs and fun and despair for everyone, because there's going to be so much back and forth. I think Danflesh put in a great show. Olsku's gonna have to show his stuff today, and Nax has been on pace like so many times yesterday, but just couldn't finish off. So those 4 is going to be fun. Ooh, we're just kind of confirming and making sure everyone's ready to go. We are I think we're just waiting on Catalyst to get everything connected and all good, but we do have the 4 that are currently available. We've got, as I said, Olsku, Danflesh, Mintius, and Iron Boy ready to go. Catalyst will join them, and we're not going to be doing the no reset race today. It's one of those ones that we want to do just one of them, so everyone posts a time. But for a game like this, it's not ideal to sit there and kind of like, because a no reset changes way too much of the run for it to ever be one of those things you can compete in. Because like sometimes you can do a no reset, but you can still do the strats that you could do, or even and if you're going to make a change, it's minor. But I felt that from watching it yesterday, that the changes that are made, for a game like this, are sizable enough that it's just not even close, not even going to come close, kind of thing. But it seems like everyone is ready, according to production. And then I'll give these guys the countdown, and then the grinding and the resets can begin. If it seems that maybe Catalyst will be along in just a moment, then it is midday. We don't want to wait too much longer. I'll get the confirmation, and then it's time to go. Good luck, all runners. Okay, cool. Count in. You're going to hear my typing. I'm very, very sorry, everyone, but that's how it goes. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go! There we are. Reset day 2.
Yay!
Right then, let's get the obvious stuff out of the way for the beginning of the run. Thief class, firebomb gift. Why is that?
So the firebombs will be used in multiple ways in the run. Will come in very handy. We will see that the first boss in like a few seconds already. We killed number 5 of those. We use it later as well to snipe an NPC, so you can drop their items directly into inventory. We don't have to walk to them. And at the end, at Bed of Chaos, we can use it for the talkie bombs. So the firebombs do play a big role in this run. Definitely want those. And the Thief class also gets the Master Key item as kind of second starter gift, and that will be used to get through a door, which will save us a lot of running around as well. So just kind of the best combination of starting gifts here. Not stat-wise, but that's not that important in this run because we get a lot of souls.
One thing I find interesting about these 4 is that we had Mintius, Iron Boy, and Olsku go straight into the run, and Danflesh just practicing one more time, Gwendolyn, just to see. Yeah, everyone seemingly doing fine against the Asylum Demon. Just again, as you mentioned, those. I think it's 3 fire bombs and evade for the first attack, like roll in, and then 2 more to finish it up. So, not too difficult an opener, as you guys were saying.
Yeah, and we also see Oldschool using this nice little strat of quitting out next to this wall and breaking it with the stand-up animation of your character. We also saw Minches doing it right now. That saves a little bit of time of walking up the stairs to trigger a boulder trap, where a boulder rolls down and breaks it for you. So I don't know, through the upper side, but all of these breakable things in the game you can just break by quitting out next to it, loading back in, and the stand-up animation of your character will just break it for you.
Yeah, you don't even need to stand that close from the wall. And like you have a bit of leeway. I don't really know why that happens. Doesn't really make any sense to me.
We have Catalyst join as well, just logged in. So Catalyst is now live. So we've got this will be our 5 runners that we'll have for the morning. The other 2 will be along whenever they can. Obviously, time zones are a thing that exist. Smiling face emoji.
Speaking of those time zones, turns out Argentina time is -4 from event
-4.
time. So
Okay. So it's 8. Oh, from event time. So
from
CET.
event time, yes.
Okay, so it's -3 for us. Okay, cool. So I mean, it's like 9 a.m. That's fine. You can get up and grind a video game. Come on, get. Yeah, so here those firebombs you were saying in the Undead Berg. Quickly throw those just over the edge there to snipe the NPC. Get those items there, as you can see.
Yeah, now we do one of the 10 billion different variants of lower and berg skip. Like there are more lower and berg skips than there are, I don't know, categories across all Souls games. I'm pretty sure.
Probably. I mean, like there is absolutely nothing preventing you from going down. Pretty much, like they didn't put any invisible, like major invisible walls or anything. So it's very easy to get down there, and there are like billions of ways to do it.
Yeah, Iron Boy doing a different strat there as well.
Yeah, I don't know how many different ones were ever used in runs. Like maybe 5 or 6. I don't know. Because depending on the categories, like we used to do the one where you go up the ladder. The Prepare to Die edition does the one with the boxes. So relevant slow berg skip, maybe like 5 or something were used in runs.
And now also we don't technically you don't need to kill the NPC for that since we have the master key, but also the key got us not only just to save or free an NPC who will give us spells later on, but also get the gold pine resin from the chest. Does someone need a chest right now? I don't think so. Actually, kind of. We will see Iron Boy picking up. It's the gold pine resin soon, and the gold pine resin will come really handy for our Taurus Demon, who also is now fighting.
Yeah, because otherwise damage wouldn't be very good on Taurus.
Yeah, it has like 100 flat damage per attack, I think. Also, it's basically triple damage, and then you also get 1 pleat proc from the Bennett Knife, which is basically build up in a bar you don't see on the enemy, and when the bar is filled, you deal a big chunk of damage with bleeding. So without gold pine resin and plead, this fight would take a long time.
All right, let's go for the first big RNG point of the run.
Oh.
So the drain fire, yeah.
Taurus just jumped off for Iron Boy. That's also nice.
Yeah, so here there's nothing. So that's the problem of one of the reset point of this run. Like being able to go past the Drake is pretty much not in your control. I'm not really sure like about the odds of making it through. Maybe 50% or something. I don't think it's too bad, but it's not infrequent to just die there. There's nothing you can do.
Sad reality, yeah.
Yeah, Iron Boy managed to make it through at least. Tank to hit, but did get through. Seems like Danflesh is still practicing. Got a few things he wants to make sure of as Mintius picks up the gold pine resin. A cool little item, and it basically affixes, like, in case it wasn't kind of like fully explained in this, I just completely missed it because I'm deaf as a bat. 150 plus lightning damage to the right hand weapon. So it's helpful, isn't it?
Oh, very, very. And we will see it used again at Gargoyles for everyone but Iron Boy, who does slightly different routing. Or maybe now he goes for Gargoyles early?
Oh, did he?
Seems like it. Seems like it. He changes routes. So yesterday he went for Gargoyles late, and fought him with
Right.
soul spears. But now
Okay,
we
so
see him actually going there.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? So we're having a look at the placing that Iron Boy has, the 108.45. That's actually that's his qualifying time. Because he's changed his splits, and the splits that are being used are like what's synced to the leaderboard. So yeah, that's why that changed for Iron Boy there.
Smart.
Because he's changed his split round. He's looking for yeah. I mean, hopefully whatever run he gets today, I think like the first one he gets through will probably be the one we can use, or if we can, I think production will probably be able to kind of like find out what his fastest time was from yesterday. And then, you know,
Actually, you can't just get the grand prize by changing his splits to 101.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
That's actually interesting then, because this was something that we were discussing yesterday as well, were these runners who were taking different routes. And we were wondering, it's like, is this a good idea? Will they be able to get to the same point as like the top 3 runners are because they're doing these bosses in a different way? So it's interesting to see Iron Boy basically take the break from the night and then come back and go, do you know what? No, I'm going to now do the same route as the rest of them. So we could see a nice PB come out in this first run.
Yeah. There's going to be, I think there's going to be a couple of things that might change in terms of like, you know, when we're used to seeing a time, you know, by a certain point in the run, he's trying to get his, having trouble with the menu. Oh man, but unfortunate. Yeah, you're trying, like you can see like when it comes to menus like that. Oh, is he just calling it? Or trying to load it again and have another go?
Yeah, he needs to reload because I think he already brought up the quantity menu, so it needs to reload so it defaults to 0 again, so I can get down to 99. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to quantity use it there.
So you'll see like a lot of menuing that happens in this run will be done specifically when there's like automatic stuff going, like, you know, being either in a lift or climbing ladders, or, you know, when they're activating the movement to go through a fog gate. When they do go through fog gates, they'll use that time to kind of quickly get as much menuing in as they can. Specifically, what they did with there was the I believe it's called pocket duping in this version, which is an exclusive version to remastered Dark Souls. Which essentially opens up 2 menus. 101 gets layered over the top. By activating the brightness menu, you can then activate like the prompt to how to use how many items you can use, which is through the brightness menu. It's the default value stored. As the guys were saying, it gets reset to 0 when you reset the game. So you can then press down to wrap it round to 99 when you don't actually have 99 soul items to get the 79,000 that Iron Boy just got.
And interestingly, it seems like Minchius went for safe strats again. Maybe plans to open the day with a no reset run again. Because he.
I noticed he didn't like he walked to the merchant, so he probably bought some throwing knives or something.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you know, reset runs. At least we have, you know, an entire run to watch at the start if he does one.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, it's also one of those things that kind of might have been a lost in translation thing to kind of say like we're going to do no reset, and it's like, how well does that translate, kind of thing? A double negative might be a little bit tricky. But we've seen some more practice from Dan Flesh, just checking out the Ornstein and Smorg fight, going for the long range one and not getting at all. Oh, okay. Is it just a thing that Ornstein's a bit more of like a Burke when he's like really close? Is that the thing? Because like that was like a really long range Ornstein and there was no problem at all.
No, he can jump away as well when he's far away, but yeah, sometimes he just stops. Like Smo as well, they can do that sometimes. Just they don't feel like attacking you anymore. Smo just like takes the jog and you can spam arrows. You know, don't question it.
Sure. Okay. We have Iron Boy kind of getting ready to go into the go towards the Iron Golem, and then they'll make his way to Anor Londo. Going to be setting himself up for this death cam abuse. Yeah. So how exactly is this one set up, and what's the purpose of this one?
So what's happening with this one is the height on the stairs is very important because surrounding the stairs there are a kill box, which is a plane that if you touch it you die, and a death cam, which if you touch it you just get this top-down camera. And the point of the height on the stairs and the repost of the enemy is to be able to hit the death cam but not the kill box, so you can survive. And what that makes is that this camera activates and now you're still alive. And the side effect of that is that when this camera is activated, the game stops loading or deloading anything. Because, since Dark Souls is like open world, the game loads as you walk through it. But if the death cam is activated, that process ends. And so what happens is the sense gates, at the moment when we did the repost, it wasn't loaded because we were too far away from Sense, so the game didn't load it yet. And so now when we get close to Sense Fortress, the gate is just not there, so we can run past it. And then just quitting out fixes the death cam, fixes the loading process, and we're inside the Sense Fortress without having the bell, without having to ring the bells. So in all bosses, the major time save of that is before Sense gets skipped, we had to ring the bells first. But we had to do that before having the Lord Vessel. So we had to go down to Quillag at the start. And then when we had to do Bed of Chaos later into the run, we had to run back again to Quillag. So we had to, the running from Firelink Shrine to Quillag, we had to do it twice in the run. But now we only do it once at the end. So that saves like roughly 3 minutes or something.
Yeah, the very nice skip found by someone called Captain Toynor. Sure you know him.
Never heard of that guy.
We saw Iron Boy having some trouble with the wall there. Didn't get the cage jump. And lost quite some time. That's the problem. Crumble Mage always had before we found the cage jump. Before it was found, I didn't do anything. That you have to basically rely on certain attacks of that snake to break it in a somewhat fast way. So if you fail a cage jump, you just kind of have to rely on Anji there to get early or later.
Just running through that, and always manage to be in between arrows that get fired out there. It's there is some nice serendipity I find in this run, where things that you can just go at full speed and it still works out for you, which I think is kind of fun.
Luckily for us speedrunners, Sense Fortress cycles are on a cycle. They're consistent, so they will always be the same. They don't have to worry about like pendulums suddenly being somewhere they shouldn't be, or anything like that, or boulders. So Sense Fortress is usually not the funnest place on your first playthrough. But for a speedrunner, once you figure out the cycle, how to manage your stamina, when to sprint, when to not sprint, especially where to not sprint, so you can sprint again, it's a fairly relaxing run through. Kind of a downtime in the run. Sadly at the very start, not in the middle. But yeah, it's really not a problem anymore, usually, unless Gandrek is commentating.
I guess the Iron Golem, a very unorthodox. We're not going to worry about reducing that HP bar to 0, are we?
No, we're not. You can hit him under the knee. And what I tried to do, just missed it. But if you deal 400 damage underneath one of his knees, he will stagger. And you try to stagger him so that he stands with the back facing the void, the ledge. And then another 200 damage will be enough to make him fall over like that.
Bye!
And he's just gone. So even the boss in this area is consistent.
Yeah. Well, in this category. In other categories, it can be annoying.
Oh yeah, In other cards, you might need more than one attack to stagger him, and then it can be less nice.
Looks like there might be a little bit of time loss just because of the extra waiting on those attacks and cycles after missing that first great heavy soul arrow.
Yeah, and the snake. He missed the cage.
Oh yeah, true.
But nothing he can't recover from. So run is still going.
Looking around though, we've got Oldsku back on the grind at the beginning of the game again, just getting outside of Asylum, 136. We've got a run starting for Catalyst. I think that's the second attempt of the day, I think. As Mintius just jumps into the Iron Golem fight as well.
Yeah, it looks like our current top 3 runners are all stuck in early game jail. Can't get out. But at least I really think Mintius is going for no reset run here. Don't think he would continue otherwise. This timer does look kind of red.
Yeah.
But maybe just as a warm-up as well. Might not be too bad of an idea, depending on how long he wants to grind. If he wants to go to full 12 hours,
Could you imagine?
he might need that warm-up.
The dedication. He's just sitting there at 8 a.m. or something. Just like, I've done this all night, but it's worth it for the 101.59.
If we see a 101 in this event, I'm gonna be. I would be very surprised to see a 101, but that would be insane.
And we see Iron Boy here doing our first Silver Knight Arthur skip of the day. So this death cam is kind of a different death cam to other ones because you don't go through a kill box, but you do go through a state where the game will kill you the next time you land. The only reason preventing Iron Boy from dying here is that he has fall control active. Just the blue trail behind him is fall control triggering on every single frame, preventing him from dying. So when fall control runs out, he will die. But luckily, we can get where we want to before this is the case. Just through a little gate that we cannot see here because it's again not loaded. But there we saw the prompt for a second. Just to skip a bit of running around the other side. It's not that much faster, but it is a bit.
But it's cool, and it's also cool.
It's also cool. That's also true. Deathcam skips are always cool.
And here he also buys 999 arrows. That's because earlier he didn't have anything to show equanimity in his inventory, and that's why he used the default value of 0 that he can just then wrap around to 99. Which popping 99 souls at 1 is already pretty nice, but if you have 999 arrows, you can just view that prompt before you do the glitch, and now the glitch will allow you to go all the way to 999, which will give you much more souls at the end. All right, and big reset point coming up. Hopefully this goes well. There we go, I jinxed it.
Oh, the double evade. Yeah.
It looked like Ornstein was stuck behind Small for a bit at the start of the charge for some reason. Oh, you can also see it here that the giant outside hugs the fog gate. So if Iron Boy has to retreat to fog gate, he has a giant trying to hit him with a halberd through the fog gate, which can sadly.
That's a lot of pressure.
That was the risky one.
Yeah, I guess he tried to hit Ornstein mid-charge there, but got lock on Small instead. I'm not even sure it would have worked if he got lock on correctly. It would have been very, very close.
I wonder if he's going to keep going, if he's going to cancel out.
No, he respawned back at the parish, so he would have to go all the way through Sens and Nanalondo again. That's like 6 minutes or something.
Yeah, I reckon with that in mind, though, we've got a reset happening. I reckon we should go and have a look at Oldsku, because they're the furthest through right now, and it'd be nice to kind of check in with them. Well, say they're the furthest through. Mintius is about to do Ornstein and Smorg first as well. What do you reckon, Oldsku or Mintius?
Mintius, I assume.
Yeah, well, have a look at
sure. Let's go from.
Just starting the Ornstein and Smorg fight, as you said.
Oh, the worst opening, the lightning opening.
It doesn't opt for a quit out here, what a lot of people do, and now we have slightly glitched on the church. Ah.
Oh my
Once-
god, the follow. Oh, that's.
The wry smile from Minty is there. He got like the immediate bodying, and there's the reset as well. Okay, cool. Oh god. Great start for us as well. 24 minutes in, and
But yeah, basically,
Double
welcome to Dark Souls Remastered All Bosses. If you see runners grind for good times, that is pretty much what most of their stream is. It's resets to ONS. It's yeah. Like, so the problem with this, with magic when you fight ONS, is that first off, magic is a bit finicky in the sense that you have to lock onto the enemy and then shoot, but then there's your spell is airborne for a while, so the enemies have time to jump and just dodge the attack. And also, you don't stagger in just one attack, unlike you can with like melee weapons in the original, for example. So what happens is you're just at the mercy of the behavior of ONS, and obviously they don't behave most of the time. And so even if you play well, even if you know what you're doing, sometimes you just can't make it through. Or if you can, the fight ends up being terribly, terribly slow. So at some point you just YOLO it because you want a fast fight. So you just attempt it and you get killed.
I think we should jump over to Olski though. Grabbing the red tier stone ring now. I'm going to be going towards Sense Fortress as well. So let's check in with them, see how it's going. But yeah, if you're just joining us, welcome to Break the Record Live, featuring Dark Souls Remastered. We're running the All Bosses category. 7 runners will have 3 days to put in as much time as they can into a 12-hour window. We go live at 1 p.m. CET every day, and runners basically that's the start time for doing runs each day. And we close run submissions at 1 a.m. CET. So of these 7 runners, if they are not in a run, or if a run dies after 1 a.m. CET, they can't start another one until the window opens again for the next day. So have a very, very clean 12-hour period to do as much as they can each day. We're not going to force them to do runs. They can spend as much or as little time on the game as possible. But of course, the more time you spend, the more grind time you get to get those good times. We're looking for that world record, which currently stands at 1 hour, 2 minutes and 34 seconds, being held by Catalyst, who's currently 3 seconds ahead of that PB as they go towards Hellkite, get through it seems. But yeah, nice runs so far from everyone. But yeah, it's reset heavy day today. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, the early game is sadly, as mentioned, not very nice. If you look at the reset per split stats of the runners, we see across the board basically around 80% of resets happening at ONS or earlier. So it's just a rough first 18 minutes to get through. After that, it's more likely we see another 18 or more. We see Old School currently the furthest in, followed by Damflash. Coming up on Sense Guide skip again the Death Camp glitch to get us into Sense Fortress. We might also want to take a look at colors right now doing Gargoyles. I don't think we saw a Gargoyle fight on the big screen yet. There we go. So opening up a Firebomb Throat, cut the tail, perfect. And that leads to the Gargoyle turning around. That's just a hardcore interaction. If the tail gets cut, the Gargoyle will turn around. Because the tail is on its back in order to see who cut it. Kind of. So you get some free attacks in there if you get a tail cut with the bomb.
Yeah, that was a really good fight for both Gargoyles. Still lost some time, unfortunately, because there's like a lot of RNG on the way there, such as Hollow Room and things like that.
Yeah, the Hollow Room is the room before Gargoyles, which is a room just full of a lot of low health but high damage enemies. And some of them are just in your way on the way to the boss. You have to manage around them. One guy in particular will stand in the door. You will see some runners actually using the third gold pen than they have. Like they use one for towers, one for gargoyles. You will use a third one just if that guy stands away, they can kill it with one hit instead of, I think, 2 or 3 you need otherwise. Because it's just that important to get through this room quickly before people, the hollowers, gang up on you. Because then you won't have a good time at all.
I'm watching Old School doing the cage jump. I never tried it myself. I still don't get like how they jump so quickly. Like he lands on the cage and just seems like he jumps on the next frame or something.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he kept momentum from the drop down. But yeah, it was a very, very quick jump. I guess that's just Old School. Good runner. He knows what's up.
Yeah.
There we have him. The quit out here he's just doing right now is because there's a boulder coming and he kind of doesn't want to get hit by it. So you quit out to reset the boulder and the whole sand cycle. And you can just walk up there without any boulders in the way. And as mentioned, the sand cycles are consistent from when you load in. So you kind of want to load in at the same spot on the slope upwards every time. So the pendulums are in this nice cycle we have here, where you can just run through without stopping.
Yeah, so something to keep an eye out on here. We've got both Olsku and Dan Flesh currently going through Sen's Fortress. But Dan is actually still on his first run of the day here. He spent the first 20 minutes in the Ornstein and Schmo fight, just trying to get, basically practicing warming up for any eventuality that can happen here. We saw a lot of dashes. We saw a lot of the lightning openings as well. So hopefully that when we get in that fight, Dan is going to be equipped to handle whatever they decide to throw at him. We saw what 4 or 5 runners or 4 or 5 runs get to that point right now, and all of them have unfortunately met with a terrible fate in that case. But we will see how Oldsku and Dan both handle this. But first, we've got good old Iron Golem again.
Yeah, that's a perfect stagger there.
Yeah.
Can't do
There's
better than
something
that.
endearing. So there's something endearing about the Iron Golem fight. I don't know. He's a big chunky boy, but he falls so easily. Bless him. He tries his hardest.
Yeah, Iron Golem has some nice, rare, random interactions. Always good for a surprise, even when you think it's 100% consistent. But as I said, they're very rare. Probably won't see any of those.
And unfortunately, they're just noticing on Mintius' screen taking a death to Gargoyles. So that's going to be a reset, I'm afraid. Not quite getting that firebomb strat. And then the Gargoyles just going out of control there, getting off an attack. And at this stage, with such low health, it's pretty much a death. That's one of the things about this run in general as well. Health management is ridiculously important. Not only for the damage increase from the red Tearstone ring, but just in general, you don't seem to have a lot of health to survive any of these attacks. I'm assuming this is intentional in the routing of the overall run.
Yeah, so you mentioned Red Tearstone ring. We can quickly touch on that. With the Red Tearstone ring, we see Ironboy on his way currently to pick it up on top of the tower there. Is a ring that will increase your damage output by 50% before resistances, which basically doubles your damage after resistances. If your health is below 20% of your maximum health. Usually, most of the time, it will be set up this health threshold by taking fall damage somewhere on the way to boss. But sometimes we need enemies to hit you, and for that we can just use the health bar we have to let enemies hit us on the way or get the damage in.
I think
So health is...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so health is not a stat you need to level in this run at all, because you want to be low life at all times anyways. So even at full leveling, at the end you will see the runners still have the same health bar.
One thing I was going to mention is just like how specific they can set up very precise damage intake. So like they're at times off the top of my head I can't remember the exact name of the accessory, but you can equip an item to half your HP, very very Demon's Souls-esque, the whole half HP thing, and then basically from there I think there's a very specific thing I remember is kind of like when you're going down to the the New Londo ruins, they'll like press the elevator, run past it, and to like do 2 back jumps as the elevator's going down, so they land exactly enough to take enough damage with half HP to put them down below the threshold. So there's like very specific instances like that where they'll do very precise setups to get the exact amount of full damage with the right timing kind of thing, like as well as equipment setup too to make that possible. And I think that kind of specificity in HP setup is kind of like one of the nicer things to take note of with the run.
All right, new ONS coming up.
Yeah, first up for old school here. Let's hope for a good pattern.
That's a good opening.
And a stagger.
That's perfect.
Very nice. Yeah, that's perfect on Steam.
See, like sometimes Smo just does like 3 backsteps in a row, so he just like goes away. That makes things so much easier. Oh, that's a nice.
Ooh,
nice
got that hit through the hammer. It's really nice. What a point blank shovel. On there you really see the quality of Olsk as a runner.
Yeah, that's really good. Like, so what he did here is that Smo started with a shovel on the second phase, and the problem with that is that the shovel makes that Smo is very far away from the fog gates, and you want to be close to the fog gate because the elevators that are after ONS, they start their cycle as soon as ONS dies, and so if you are too far from the fog gate when the fight is over, you just miss the cycle and you just have to wait for the elevator. So what he did here is, while he was fighting Smo, he was turning around and got on the other side, so he would be close enough to the fog gates when ONS died. So that's going to be a pretty good time here.
Yeah, like almost 18. Just 15 seconds ahead. That's pretty nice.
Hmm.
Wasn't a gold
Very
close
good.
to it, but a low 17 ONS, which is solid as hell. So yeah, he's going to use his 99 times soul duplication here. So he's now got 8 million souls, and this is where our runners are going to do the final leveling of the run. They did a little bit earlier just to kind of like increase the spell damage and obviously get the spells and everything they need. But main stats are attunement to have more spell equips, endurance to have more stamina and also a little bit more resistance, dexterity to have the fastest spell speed cast, and then more intelligence to increase them. I think it's 97 intelligence.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't be able to give you precise numbers for the other ones because I don't know. But you guys do.
No.
45 endurance. I know.
I know 45. I know 45 dex.
Dex, yeah.
Yeah. So also worth to mention is that in Dark Souls you get resistances for every level up. Doesn't matter what you level.
Mm-hmm.
So even so they don't level the health bar at all. I forgot if it's Vitality or Vigor in Dark Souls 1. It doesn't really matter because the level ups just of the 97 intelligence, for example, just gives them so much resistance, so they're still like 3 times as tanky as at the start, just from taking less damage from everything.
Yeah, like it will be especially that kind of level ups is especially useful for Sif, for example, because Sif has like a mechanic where it can damage you by just jumping, and it's called like chip damage, and it's supposed to do very little damage. But if you are in RTSR range, so if you're below 20% HP, on categories where you're very low on levels, that kind of damage can be lethal. But in this route, it shouldn't be an issue because they're like already soul level like 130 or something like stupid like that. All right, so Stray is pretty straightforward with this route. The special thing about it is that they do a quit out to set a party started by falling, and when you do a quit out in front of Stray Demon at the start of the fight, he decides to just turn around. If you don't do a quit out, he will face you, but here just turned around, which is kind of handy because it allows you to just shoot from the back, so you don't have to worry about the opening really. Yeah, it loses a bit of time because that wasn't the best RNG.
Yeah,
So,
also picking
yes.
up the peculiar doll here real quick, which is an item you need to enter the painted world, and the painted world has a boss in it, so we needed to get it here. And we need to get it done, obviously, before we get to the painted world.
As we're talking about the RNG there, unfortunately, a bit of an update on Dan. Got into Orstein. And Orstein, same opening that Old School got the dash down towards the left-hand side. Unfortunately, dodged the first arrow, and then immediately attacked him with the spear, ending the run, unfortunately. So you can see now that Dan is back towards the beginning of the run there. We're going to have to see if he can get back to that point. And we've also got Iron Boy heading into that area just now as well.
Wow, Kara resetting in the middle of the ONS fight just because it was too slow.
Yeah, he fired a shot and it got put like blocked by Smorg's hammer. So it's just like, all right, good, nice run.
Oh yeah, the fact that Smorg's hammer can block spells is definitely one of the more annoying things of the fight as well for this route.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense with magic, but it's even more annoying that it can happen with melee weapons as well. And it's really weird because like the game just will look at what part of Smo you hit first with your, like if you fight with a halberd, for example, in any percent. And so sometimes you see your halberd clearly going through Smo, but because the game considered that you hit the hammer first, then you get like absolutely no damage. But at least with magic, visually, it kind of makes sense. You know, like it hits the hammer. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, so while we've got our runners here still going through a run, and we've got Osu going towards the towards Dark Route, heading towards the Hydra, we're going to take a quick 3-minute ad break here. We're just going to get ourselves all set up. Going to get we get ourselves set up. You can grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack. We'll be right back after this quick ad break, and we'll see how the rest of this run goes before we head to Seath and Sith.